Okay, let's get a little meta for a second. Have you ever actually stopped to think about how you think? It's easy to just assume our thinking process is, just there, it's fixed. But what if it's not? What if it's a skill? Something you can actively practice, refine, and upgrade? Let's dive into how you can become the architect of your own thoughts.
So picture this. You've got a tough problem staring you in the face. What's your first move? Are you the kind of person who dives in, throwing a million ideas out there like a brainstorming whirlwind? Or are you more of a blueprint person? The type to step back, lay out a super logical plan, and then execute it step by step. Go on, think about it for a sec. Because your gut reaction here, it actually tells us a whole lot.
Yeah, most of us have a default setting, right? We tend to lean one way or the other. We can call these two modes expansive thinking and structured thinking. Expansive thinking, that's your wild, creative, nonlinear brain at play. It's all about generating possibilities. Then you've got structured thinking. This is your logical, analytical side focused on building a solid, airtight case. Now here's the kicker. The real magic isn't about picking a favorite, it's about knowing when to switch between the two.
All right, let's dive into that first mode, the expansive one. Think of this as the raw material gathering phase. We're not building anything just yet. We're just letting one little seed of an idea explode into a whole forest of possibilities. And the key rule? Don't start trimming the branches too soon. And one of the absolute best tools for this is mind mapping. I'm sure you've seen it. It's basically a visual way to get your thoughts out. You pop a central idea in the middle and then just branch out. It's so powerful because it mirrors how our brains actually work, It helps you spot connections you'd totally miss if you were just making a boring old list. It's all about breaking free from that straight line thinking. Brendan Boyle from the legendary design firm IDEO has such a cool way of looking at this. He says brainstorming isn't chaos, it's a game. And like any good game, it has rules. And here's the really interesting part. It's those rules, that little bit of structure that actually makes the whole thing feel so freeing and so incredibly productive. It's not just random idea spitting, it's what you might call structured creativity.
And the best part is, you can start playing this game like right now. Seriously, the biggest hurdle is just starting. Let it be messy at first. Just get the ideas down. Don't edit, don't organize, just capture. Try using just one keyword for each idea to keep things moving fast. Oh, and colors are your friend. Use them to group different thoughts together. But the most important thing, let it be organic. Don't force it into a rigid box. That natural, sprawling structure is where all the good stuff is.
Okay, so you've been in the forest, you've gathered all this amazing raw material, this huge cloud of ideas. Now, it's time to switch hats. We're moving from the brainstormer to the architect. This is where structured thinking comes in. It's time to take all that raw material and start chiseling it into something precise, something logical, something persuasive. And believe it or not, one of the most rock-solid frameworks for this actually comes from the legal world. It's an acronym, IRAC, IRAC. And trust me, it's an absolutely killer tool for building a clear, compelling argument for pretty much anything, not just for lawyers. This works everywhere from the courtroom to the boardroom. So IRAC is a super simple four-step recipe for turning a jumbled mess of a problem into a sharp, persuasive argument. First up is I for issue. This is where you nail down the exact question you're trying to answer. No fluff. What is the one core problem we are trying to solve here? Okay, once you have your issue, you move to R for rule. This is like setting the rules of the game. You lay out all the objective facts, the principles, the laws, whatever governs the situation. This becomes the foundation, the logical framework for everything that comes next.
Next is A for application. And honestly, this is where the magic really happens. This is the heart of the whole process. You take the specific details of your problem and you analyze them using the rules you just laid out. You're connecting the dots, you're showing exactly how the rules apply to your specific facts.
And if you've done the first three steps right, this last one almost writes itself. C is for conclusion. And this isn't just your opinion or a wild guess. It's the logical, inevitable outcome of your analysis. It's the clear, solid answer to the issue you started with. Boom.
This is such a perfect example of how powerful structured thinking can be. It's not just about having the facts on your side, it's all about how you frame those facts. Look at this legal case. You've got two sides describing the exact same situation. The employee says the new tasks are more arduous and less prestigious. But the company, they frame it as the duties fell within the same job description. See that? Same reality, but a totally different analysis leads to a completely different persuasive punch.
But here's the thing. All this powerful framing,
All this structured logic, it only works if your foundation is solid. If it's weak, the whole thing just crumbles. So now we have to talk about the #1 enemy of clear thinking, logical fallacies. Think of these as the hidden cracks in your argument, the weak spots that can bring the whole thing crashing down.
Yeah, a really good way to think about this is like your argument is a piece of software, and a logical fallacy, that's a bug in the code. It's a critical error that makes the whole program crash or give you the wrong answer. So the big question is, how do we find and fix these bugs? How do we debug our own thinking?
Okay, first up is a classic you've definitely seen before, the ad hominem attack. This is the cheat shot. It's when you can't attack the argument, so you attack the person making it. You know, like dismissing someone's great idea just because you don't like their politics? It's a total distraction from what actually matters, the idea itself.
All right, next up is the slippery slope. Oh man, this one is everywhere. It's that argument that goes, if we do this one tiny thing, it's going to spiral out of control and lead to absolute disaster. The problem is, it's all drama and no proof. It just assumes this crazy chain reaction without any real evidence to back it up.
And then there's the red herring. We've all been in a conversation where this happens. You're debating one thing, and suddenly the other person brings up something totally random and irrelevant to throw you off track. It's a classic magician's trick, misdirection, designed to get them out of a tough spot.
And let's wrap up our bug hunt with the hasty generalization. This is when we jump to a huge conclusion based on like 2 pieces of evidence. It's a really common mental shortcut, but it's also a super dangerous one. It's the root of so many stereotypes and just plain bad decisions.
Okay, so we've got these 2 powerful modes of thought, right? The wild, creative, expansive mode and the sharp, logical, structured mode. But how do we get them to work together? The final, most important step is the synthesis. It's about building a mental framework that can hold all of these tools at once. And the master key to all of this is something called mental models. Don't let the fancy name scare you. A mental model is just a framework for how you think something works. It's a cognitive shortcut, an internal blueprint that helps you cut through complexity, figure out what's important, and make way better decisions. The legendary investor Charlie Munger, one of the smartest thinkers out there, is famous for talking about this. He says the goal is to build a latticework of mental models. And the key word there is latticework. It's not about having just one amazing model. It's about having a whole collection of them from different fields. Why? Because that's how you avoid the old trap. If all you have is a hammer, every problem starts to look like a nail.
And this toolkit can be incredibly diverse. You can pull from physics with first principles thinking to boil a problem down to its absolute core. You can grab game theory from math to understand how people interact strategically. Or you can use a classic from economics like supply and demand. Every single model you add gives you a brand new lens to see the world, and that makes your picture of reality so much richer and more accurate.
So there you have it. You've got the tools for brainstorming and the tools for building an argument. You know how to spot the bugs in your logic, and you have the master plan for building a latticework that holds it all together. The toolkit is yours now. So the only question left to ask is, what will you build with it? What will you think about differently?